What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, 31 Days of Horror Vol.7 is coming at you live. And yes, we are going to start this year off with a bang. I've actually started off a previous 31 Days of Horror in the past with a film by this director, so why not do it again, right? It's a brand new film from 2022, directed by Brian Pollin, and it is called Septic. Yes, I've been waiting a long time for this because I heard that he was making another film, and I kind of forgot about it because it even says on the back here that it took 5 years to make this movie. Started out as a short, took 5 years to create this film, and was it worth the wait? Well, I guess we'll wait and see. Of course, this one right here is starring Brian himself. He plays a very big role in the film, and it's also starring Chris Kinnery. Now, I was looking at the back, and I was like, who is Chris Kinnery? So I did a quick little IMDb check on him, and I was like, this is his only acting gig. And I'm like, okay, so I know the name. I'm like, why do I know this name? So anyways, I popped the movie in, and when his character, Dr. Wu, gets introduced into the film, it instantly hit me. Chris used to be from YouTube. He used to do videos with his wife Teresa, and they stopped making videos years and years ago, and I just totally kind of forgot about him. And I was like, damn, I know that guy. That's pretty cool. I used to talk to him and stuff like that, but he does a really good job as a demented doctor in this film. But anyways, I digress. Getting into the synopsis of Septic, basically it follows this couple who are having problems conceiving children. So what they do is they call up Brian Pollin's character. He kind of plays this middleman, and he tells them that he can introduce them to somebody that can, do this surgery for them. Basically what the catch is that they want to live stream it kind of on the dark web. And the catch is that the donor has to die during the live stream. So essentially what you're doing is you're watching kind of like, not necessarily a snuff film, but it's more like a Red Room type film where they kind of torture and kill somebody and stuff like that. And it's a way for them to get pregnant and to make some money. And yeah, so of course they go ahead and they do this surgery. She ends up getting pregnant, and then everything just spirals out of control, not only for the couple, but for like everybody involved in this and stuff like that. And it just turns into a gory fucking bloodbath. So that's essentially the synopsis of Septic. Now, my thoughts on this movie, god damn, just when I think that Brian Pollin can't outdo himself from his previous films. I mean, if you're familiar with his work, he did Bone Sickness and Fetus, Cryptic Plasm, Blood Pigs. Those are the movies that I'm really familiar with. I've actually reviewed all those movies. You know what you're getting yourself into. Those are bloody gore films. Morbid Vision Films, that's what they make. They make bloody, gory films. Now, with that said, this movie is not for everybody. I've had in the past where people have watched my reviews and like, oh, you recommended this movie and it was highly disgusting. I'm like, what the fuck you watching this shit for anyways? But yeah, no, this is the type of movie that's for the very sick breeded horror fan. Because there's a lot of craziness going on in this. There's a lot of offensive things and just a lot of nutty gore scenes in this, man. It's absolutely insane. First off, I will say Brian Pollin does a really good job in this film as kind of like the middle, kind of seedy man who sets up these live streams, and he works with Dr. Wu, played by Chris Kinnery. And I will say on that acting tip too, Chris Kinnery's character, Dr. Wu, he's fantastic, man. He really, really is believable in this role. He's fantastic. Man, I love the part where he's talking about playing into people's stereotypes and stuff like that. It was a great little explanation and shit. It was pretty awesome. But essentially what you come for when you're watching a Brian Pollin film is the blood and gore. I'm not going to sit here and run through all the scenes particularly because I don't want to ruin it for the people who haven't seen this movie, because it is relatively new. It came out sometime recently. You can purchase this on his eBay store. I think that's the only way you can get them. He does have the Morbid Vision Films website, but I think you have to get these on the eBay page. And then the shipping to Canada is a little bit expensive, I will say. But yeah, so Septic, man. Oh, dude, this movie, if you can make me go, aw, and yeah, and it's pure shock and awe, if you can make me gag, you are doing your damn job. There's some scenes in this film I was like, holy shit, man. Like, talk about over-the-top blood and gore, but just craziness, man. There's actually one scene in this film I will mention. It's towards the beginning of the film, and it's a really strange scene with Brian Pollin and his girlfriend in the film, I guess. Anyways, he pulls a bunch of, like, almost like discharge out of her pussy, and they end up shooting it up with like a fucking needle. I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching? That was the craziest shit ever. I've never seen anything like that in a film, but there is some nutty shit going on here, man. You got the Red Room stuff, so you got like, you know, there's bodies being hacked up, smashed to death, there's babies getting smashed, there's craziness with vagina discharges, and oh, there's so much blood and gore in this movie, and that's really what you're coming for. And I will say the gore looks outstanding. Really, really good. There's some nastiness to this, man. And I said, like, again, the vagina shit, though, man. I was literally gagging watching this, man. It was just so ridiculously over the top and nasty. But yeah, overall, the movie runs about 82 minutes, and it rips by. It absolutely rips by. Like, I love gore films. I love this type of shit. I'm just waiting for the next scene to see if it's going to surprise me or whatever. And it just tears by. It really, really does. It's awesome. Of course, you're gonna get lots of nudity in the film too. The gore. My only gripe with the movie is some of the sound design in this movie, not the actual sound effects, and the sound of dialogue and stuff. All sounds really good for, you know, Brian Paullin film. I'm not saying his movies ever sound bad, but it's more the sound choice in the background music and stuff. It has like this cyberpunk type feel to it, especially in the opening scene, in the opening credits and stuff. It has this kind of cyberpunk feel to it, where it has this real staticky, scratchy, you know, like kind of hyper drummed, you know, just real craziness sound effects. So it's so loud that you literally have to turn it down. It happens a couple times during the film, and it's more or less during like the Red Room scenes and stuff like that. I kind of get the focus of what you're doing with that. You're trying to really embellish the violence and stuff like that, but it comes across as being uber annoying, and it does have this like highly almost offensive cyberpunk sound to it. So if you know what I mean, it's like this electronic kind of drums, real scratchy sounds and stuff like that. But that was really my only gripe with the film. It only happens a couple times. There is other music in the film, but that was really kind of the low point. But everything else in the movie, I was really enjoying the shit, man. I think it's really solid. It definitely, you can see the 5 years that was put into this. There's a lot of effects. A lot of work went into the effects, and I highly applaud Brian Paullin for doing this. He writes and, you know, directs and does effects and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just, it's really, really batshit. So if you're a fan of his previous films that I mentioned, then you will definitely be a fan of Septic. This is pretty much on the same lines gore-wise and, you know, kind of effectiveness than his other films and stuff. So I highly enjoyed this. 8.5 out of 10 for Septic. Definitely get yourself a copy. Yeah, so that's going to conclude day one here on the 31 Days of Horror. I really enjoyed watching that film, and starting off another 31 Days of Horror with Brian Paullin again, because the dude is just batshit, man. And like I said, if you're not into Red Room type movies, violent, gory, just batshit craziness, this one is not going to be for you. So don't watch this review and say, why did you recommend this? It's not for everybody. That's what I'm saying. So Septic, if you're into this, you're going to love it. So, and if you're not into this type of stuff, stay far away. It's not for you. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for day one. I'll be back with day two here, obviously tomorrow. So hope you guys are pumped for the 31 Days of Horror, because I am. It's good to be back. I wasn't here last year. I was actually out of town for like the first week, and I didn't get a chance to pre-record anything. I've already told the story. But as you're watching this, I'm going to be at Cinema Wasteland. So again, if you are watching this and you're there and whatever, come by and say hi. And anyways, I'll check you guys tomorrow on day two. And as usual, deuces.